All right, everyone, and hello, and welcome back. I know it's been probably too long since a recorded video like this. Uh, we're back. Just want to say everything that's in this video is down in the cards below. Check the description if you just want to take the sets and you don't want to hear any description of them in the video. Give me one of these. This is what I live for. Otherwise, on to the video. So AT Rey Dau came out. And with him came a special skill, Lord Soul / Guts Tenacity. It works basically the same as Guts does if you've ever played a game with Guts in it before. Kind of like Moxie. You take one hit that would drop you below 0 health. And as long as your main health was above whatever that threshold was, you don't die. Before it triggers, it does give you a 4% attack buff with a little bit of rounding stuff going on there. And it will reduce your defense by 5%. Of course, allows you to survive a lethal hit. Got the same category. From what I could tell, it's the same sort of classification as Corrupted Mantle in terms of what works, what doesn't work. For the most part, it's only affecting your weapon. Now, generally speaking, if you're using an average weapon now, call it 220 raw. It's like slightly like in the middle between activated and unactivated Gore Magala 4-piece set bonus, which is pretty good. You don't have to deal with activating it on Gore Magala. I don't know if some people like that or don't. I never really found activating the Gore Magala set bonus to be that difficult in the first place, but it is there. Otherwise, once you do take the lethal hit, it changes. You lose the attack bonus. I am here. I was just testing it. And you will see, well, you won't really know. Take my word for it. It's a 5% defense boost. And it gives you 3 elemental resistance across the board. Not amazing, but if you almost died, this will help you keep from dying, hopefully, again. So it's like a pretty big swing in terms of your defense, right? You go from being 5% down to being 5% up. It's okay. All right, that being said, let's look at some sets. I've put some sets together. I have 5, and maybe watch the whole video first to hear my explanation of them before you run out and build anything, but that's up to you. Okay, first set coming up is Anti-AT Rey Dau Set. Figure if you are going to make something first, you might want to consider making this one. It's going to make the farming experience a little bit easier, a little bit less frustrating if you're eating a lot of hits. As we go through this, though, I think it's probably worth a refresher of latent power. So I'm going to assume you've watched my previous video about latent power in terms of all of its effects. Main thing, though, is just a reminder is how does latent power get activated? So there are some people, I had some snarky comments in stream last night. They're saying like, oh, it's a useless skill. If you're waiting 2 minutes in order for this effect to proc, you're doing it wrong. And I could not agree more. Yes, you are just waiting for the 2 minutes for the effect to go off. It is pretty bad. But the other effect, way to activate it is take 125 health damage. So on most of these sets, we're building in Counter-Strike anyway. And as we saw, we're already getting 5% defense down. So with that being said, if you're looking to take full advantage of the AT Rey Dau set, be it the 2-piece or the 4-piece for the increased duration of latent power, it's really not that bad. It is something you're going to have to go out of your way to do. For some of us, for some of you, you're getting hit all the time anyways. So it's going to be constantly up. But it is something that you should keep in mind going forward through the remainder of these sets. If you absolutely hate the idea of taking damage to activate latent power, you're going to want to take a look at one of the sets I'm going to post in just a few minutes. Reason I like this set is you get full stun resistance. You don't have to worry so much about whether or not AT Rey Dau is going to stun you. We have speed eating 3, and you still get 95% affinity. I mean, that's actually a pretty decent amount of attack and affinity all put together. You get the extended latent power. I mean, in general, Pretty good. There's really, like, you could just use this if you really wanted, if you were happy with all the effects, and it's okay. All right, next up. So this next set is something that I'm thinking is probably going to be my general use set. And again, I have to get into my mind whether or not latent power is going to be something that I'm going to want to be activating on a regular basis. This does have the extended duration, the 4-piece set bonus for letting latent power go out a bit longer. So probably won't be that frustrating. The 2-piece doesn't really do much. It gives you 30 seconds. This gives you 60 seconds on top of the 30 seconds. So it's pretty workable. You're getting a lot of attack boosts, right? We've got Agitator, we've got Counter Strike, we've got Burst 1. We were able to fit all in there. The two different numbers, by the way, for the affinity is the first one is with 0 activations. The second one is with all the activations up. So Agitator and Latent Power. The nice thing about this set is it does have Speed Eating 2. I kind of wish it was Speed Eating 3, but that's okay, because alongside that, we do get 1 point of recovery up. Big deal. It's actually technically not recovery up, right? It's recovery speed up, but it's something. And then you also get 1 point of elemental absorption. So if you are using a elemental weapon, you'll get a little bit of a boost there. You'll get a little bit of elemental resistance. So that's kind of nice. I think it's best to target 95% affinity for the most part. Whether using a Zoxia weapon or an Ardian weapon, those all come with at least 5% affinity. I don't think it's really worth trying to go much higher than that. Okay, next set. So there was a guy that was really annoying last night, kept saying, like, why aren't you using the meta set? I didn't download the quest early. I didn't know what the armor set was going to be, but he was very annoying. Guy, if you're watching this video, stop being annoying. In any case, the set that I guess is meta that's floating around is a set that has a minimal amount of focus on latent power. It also has a very minimal focus on Agitator for some reason. It only has Speed Eating 1. The nice thing about it is right off the rip, assuming you're hitting a weak spot, it has 80% affinity. Okay. If you don't want to deal with any conditions, if you don't want to worry about whether the monster is going to be enraged or not, you don't want to worry about getting hit to activate latent power, although I guess you should get hit because you need to activate Counter Strike, but whatever. That is what it is. Sorry about that. I stun locked myself. I realized I hadn't switched armor sets. And apologies on the general latent set. I didn't switch armor sets there, but all these cards are going to be down below. Just use them then. In any case, this set is there for not worrying about any uptime on anything else. Consequently, it doesn't hit 100% affinity unless you're already activating the latent power. Which makes me think, if you're not maxing out your affinity, then wouldn't the latent power probably end up beating it anyways? And that's, again, on top of the fact that it only gets a bonus 33 attack compared to the 49. In any case, we'll compare them later. This is just a set, again, if you want a minimal amount of latent power, just having it go off periodically. Now, the other thing is, what if you don't want maximum might? Okay, so I said there wouldn't be any maximum might. There is technically maximum might on this set. You do technically get 1 point of the skill, but we're pretending it's not there. I'm assuming you're using bow. I'm assuming you're using classical dual blades. I'm assuming maybe you're just like very worried about not having maximum might up for hammer. Any one of those cases, this set is here for you in terms of being able to keep that up. I think you give up a lot, but at the same time, if you're using bow, I don't really know what else you could do. Again, you could, depending on your bow, drop some weakness exploit, put more points into burst. You could also, in theory, drop weakness exploit and put more points into counter strike if you don't mind taking a hit. At this point, a lot of these decisions are up to you. The main thing is that it's an okay set. I mean, again, you get the 2-piece set bonus for latent power. Your latent power should be up a little bit longer. It's just a little annoying that we're not fitting the 4-piece on. My only reasoning for that is if we do go for the full 4-piece Rey Dau set, then we lose out on the 2P score bonus. And I feel like the 25% affinity, it's just too much. You know, it's too much not to have up and available. Again, maybe some workshopping I could do here, but it's something I wanted to throw together in case there was somebody that it plays a lot of bow, plays a lot of dual blades, plays a lot of hammer. Maybe lance, but even then, I wouldn't worry too much about lance. If you time your counters right, maximum might should be able to be up. Okay, so gun lance, and I realized I didn't even put it on the card. This has the Zhou super recovery as well. Kind of nice. Main thing here was trying to stack as many flat attack bonuses as humanly possible. And that's a pretty big number. And we get evade extender too. So it's 63 attack plus the 4% scaling attack. We have almost no affinity. Who cares? But, you know, if we compare this to all the other sets, what, 63 versus 8 versus 33 versus 49 versus 41? You squeeze out a little bit more performance here. Now, your pokes are going to be worse than ever, but at least the way that and I think a lot of people play gun lance, if you're doing a lot of shelling, I think this is the way they go. And at the same time, extra attack is still extra damage, even if you're not getting like the better scaling from crits. It's still damage. It still hurts the monster. Okay, last slide. Again, like I'm just comparing the set that I think I will be using versus what the so-called meta is. And again, I don't think the meta set is bad. If you're doing a lot of short hunts, like if you're fighting Lala Barina, like anything that's tier 1 or tier 2, I'll probably go with that one because I'm not going to want to go through the hassle of activating latent power, right? It doesn't make sense to sit there and have some little jobber attack you over and over again as you desperately try to get in your latent power to activate. But if you're fighting AT Rey Dau, Zhou, any sort of tempered tier 3 monster, I think that other latent set is pretty good. You know, it's more attack, it's longer latent power, it's more speed eating, it's got recovery speed and elemental absorption up. I mean, those are all very nice things to have over the other set. It's just a matter of getting it activated. So all in all, kind of an interesting set. I didn't show or do any AT Rey Dau at all in this video. I don't know if I'll do a speedrun or not. Probably not. I like the fight. It's an okay fight. And before I get on a tangent, I just want to say thank you again. Everybody that's still tier 3 subscriber on Twitch, YouTube channel member, Twitch tier 2, Twitch tier 1. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me in my retirement. But yeah, I think my issue with the game right now, and there's still plenty to do, right? We still have armor upgrades we can do. You can still fill out all of your craftable weapons. You could do grinding for the Ardian weapons, although God knows I don't really want to do it. You know, that's not how I want to spend my time. I am done with doing Ardian weapon grinding, and I haven't even done that much. So that's it for me. I think with AT Rey Dau, again, it's a good fight. I just need every other monster that I want to fight to be that way. And the funny thing is if you just tweaked a lot of the damage numbers on a lot of the tier 2 monsters, I think it would be that fun. Like Guardian Rathalos doesn't need a lot of changes. He just needs to be stronger and a little faster. And then he would be a ton of fun to fight. But then you also kind of want a reason to fight him. Now, is it decorations? I don't really need any more decorations. Not really. Is it Ardian weapons? I already said I don't really want to do the grind for Ardian weapons. I don't know. I don't know what you do. I mean, you can hunt for the sake of hunting, and I enjoy doing that. And that's fine. But I think Wilds is in a funny place for where the treadmill is. I think a big part of that issue is by splitting the decorations, the pools themselves have been split. You pretty much fill out your armor pool almost immediately, And then from that point forward, you just need to grind out your weapon decos. And once you got a good couple weapon decos, you don't need anything too fancy. We don't have anything super rare. They made all the hard stuff craftable, which is great. It's great for the people that wanted to play the game and then finish it and then feel like they're done with it. But for the people that wanted to feel like you're getting like a constant sense of progression, I think 250 to 300 hours is where you kind of hit that wall of your like, I think I'm kind of okay here. I'll wait till the next thing, you know, unless you're a real completionist, but I spent all my time in the training hall anyways. Okay, enough rambling. Thank you all again so much. I love you. I appreciate you. I will see you next time. Goodbye.